Hello everybody, welcome to the NPTEL SWAYAM course on customer relationship management. In this particular video, we are talking about social CRM, and this is Dr. Shagata Chatterjee from VGSOM IIT Kharagpur who is taking this course for you. So when we were discussing about social CRM in the last video, we were discussing how the social media, which is like the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and other social media platforms, can be used to create customer relationship management strategies. That can be both strategy perspective, and that can be also in the context of operational perspective. You can do all of your customer relationship management in the social media, or you can at least use social media as a part of your overall strategy. Now, the problem with social media usage in social media is that it's open. Everybody can see this. Means if it is only in the chat box, then that is different story. Probably people will not be able to see this. But often when we try to mention social CRM, things are open. For example, Twitter, it's open. I can see that what people are answering and how other people's problem are being addressed by the organization. So all of these details are generally open. So when things are open, it becomes further more problematic, challenging for a service provider, in this context a customer relationship management company or a brand, who because whatever actions he is doing, he cannot do any unethical actions, he cannot do any bad things, because whatever misunderstanding, whatever I would say mishappenings that ultimately come out of this particular interaction, that becomes open to everybody, and everybody comes to know, and everybody makes a judgment on that. So often as a customer, my satisfaction with a particular company will also depend how moral this particular company is, how ethical this particular company is. Now, if I find that this particular company is not so moral or not so ethical with some other customer who is probably not powerful, and I am probably in terms of relative term, I am more powerful than that particular consumer who is the victim, then it becomes sometimes my I would say responsibility. It's my perceived responsibility that I want justice. I will bring justice for the other customer. That becomes my responsibility. Why? Because we try to perceive that the customer is a part of me. I and that victim customer are in the same group. We are in the same group. We are part of the same cohort, I would say, that we are both customers, both in the receiving end. So if I am more powerful in a certain context, I might not be such powerful in some other context. Tomorrow something else can happen, and I might not be that powerful anymore. So it becomes my responsibility, by being powerful in this current context, to bring justice for the victim customer. So this kind of psychology brings in, and when I talk about consumer power, it is not like how powerful you are. It can be a political power, it can be an economic power. For example, let's say for a particular company, I know that this brand, I or my organization buys lots of products from this particular brand. So the amount of revenue that me or my organization generate for this particular organization is quite a lot. So that gives me a little bit of economic power, that okay, if I sometimes get angry and if I take up that particular business and put it somewhere else, give it to some other competitor of this particular brand, then this brand will be affected. So lots of times you will see that this kind of backfire happens. For example, if we can give a classic example of Snapdeal, where Amir Khan and Snapdeal, Amir Khan was the brand ambassador of Snapdeal, and because of certain reasons, because of certain problems with the Amir Khan brand as a brand ambassador, lots of people became very angry with Snapdeal, and they started switching from Snapdeal to some other I would say e-commerce firms, and that actually affected Snapdeal quite a lot, and that's a case study that we actually read. Now this has happened, this viral output has happened all the more because it has happened in the social sector. It has happened in the in the social media. And when I say social media, people are connected, people anything gets viral, it's very difficult to to actually control that virality. So you have to, as a brand manager, as a customer relationship manager, you have to probably predict that virality, even when it is a small, probably small flicker. You have to predict that this can become a huge fire. So that kind of a prediction, if you can do at the right time, at the right moment, and control the negative virality very quickly, that gives a gives a positive benefit towards the organization. At the same time, if you can also predict that which kind of posts can bring in positive virality for your organization, you can probably put money in the social media, put advertisement money to create a little bit of inorganic growth also, such that at a later point of time further more organic growth happens for that particular post, and you create a positive virality for a particular post. So that kind of things are there in CRM, and we have discussed quite a lot of things, and I will go to engage as multiple functions. There are multiple functions in which this CRM can engage. For example, there are marketing, there is sales, there is service support, innovation, collaboration, and customer experience. So these are all comes under the broad umbrella of marketing. So if I say how social CRM can be used, social CRM can be used for sales. We know marketing, how it can be used in sales. So it can probably, first of all, again there are certain case studies where you can find out that people generally post about their posts, about their visits, about their travels in social media. Let's say I am currently traveling in Goa, let's assume. So what I will do is I will post that, okay, I have this is how I am enjoying in Goa. So 2-3 pictures of Goa. Sometimes, in fact, in the real life situation, people do not even wait. People do not even wait till they come back. The urgency of sharing their positive experiences is so high. It becomes, we call it FOMO, fear of missing out. People have so high FOMO, fear of missing out, that whatever something good happens with them, they share in the social media. And similarly, when people go for travel, that's why they also share. They don't even wait. So I have seen the people checking in. Have you also have learned about checking in, right? So you go to a restaurant with your friends and you check in that restaurant. And I'm checking in Inox movies. I'm checking in some restaurant, or I'm checking in Goa beach. So the moment you check in, you are saying that I am at this particular place right now. And if I, as a person, let's say I am a social CRM manager or I am a sales manager, let's say, and I have very good connection with the CRM manager of my organization, and basically I am a spa. Let's say I am a spa in Goa. So what I do is, I know that these are the big hotels, and these are the big beaches, and these are the big travel places in Goa. What I will do is, I will keep tracking all the checkings that are happening with that thing. So there are social media tools, social media tracking tools, or even if you do not have tracking tools, you can go in Google, go in Facebook, and just search with that particular name and go click on content, and all the posts which are open posts, not so you cannot do anything which is not shared openly, which is only shared with friends. If there is some privacy issues, some security issues, you cannot actually track those kind of information, but at least those information which are open, which or let's say posted in a particular Facebook page of this particular company, or a particular beach, or a particular restaurant, that you can track. Now, if I can track that, okay, I am a spa in Goa and there are 4 other places which is nearby hotels, and these are the people who are saying that they are enjoying in this kind of hotels or this kind of beaches which are close by to me, I can send certain discount offers, certain kind of messages to these people, to their social media posts, to their Facebook, probably Facebook messages. I can post certain Facebook messages to their inbox to say that, okay, there is some discount going on in my spa, why don't you come? So this is a lead generation that is happening automatically from the social media. And if you can, let's say you say, I'm saying that the conversion will not be very high, because many people might not even see their Facebook inbox, which is not the main inbox, which is probably the side inbox. But whatever be the case, even if, see, there is no cost in doing this, there is only manual cost, human cost. Probably if you have certain tool to track this, then that kind of tools cost, but ideally there is no cost in it. Now, if you can track and if you can send certain information, certain offers to these guys, and some footfall happens more than what used to happen before without this, then that extra footfall is your advantage. That extra footfall is the increased revenue that you are getting. So, why not do that? So, that is how social CRM helps quite a bit in the sales procedure. So, like social sales insights, rapid social sales response, you can also use, so for example, chat bots. So, we use this Facebook chat. So, let us say if you have a Facebook page, then you will also have a Facebook Messenger for that particular page. So, you can respond as the page also. So, if when you respond as the page or as the business, lots of sales I would say inquiries come in Facebook, and you have to have a person in the Facebook to answer those sales queries very quickly. And we have seen, I am not sure whether you have seen or not, like if you go to airbnb.com, we are doing a study on this actually. So, in Airbnb, what is Airbnb? Airbnb is basically it's not a social media, but it's an e-commerce basically. It's an e-commerce where lots of people who are basically peer-to-peer room sharing. So, where a particular person who has a house, and in a house 2-3 rooms are open, vacant, he is not using, that rooms he basically posted in Airbnb, and you can come and stay, and this person becomes the host. Now, oftentimes how much sales you will get also depends on how responsive in this particular host is. The response rate, so you will see that in Airbnb it is written that this guy answers in 2 hours, this guy answers in 1 day. In Messenger also it is there that this page answers in the moment you go to a new page and the chat box opens up, it says that this particular page answers in 6 hours or 2 hours or immediately or very fast or very responsive. So, all of these things, the responsiveness of a particular page or a particular business in the social media platform becomes a driver of sales. So, we can use that as a sales also. Proactive social lead generation, as I told, direct and distributed social commerce, and dynamic social supply reallocation. So, you can also make sure that you can actually use this particular platform to reallocate your supply chain when you are doing various kinds of marketing. Some amount of money can also go to this particular platform. Now, service and support I have already discussed that it can be used for the same particular chat box where or Twitter platforms or Instagram platforms where you are doing marketing, or where we are answering the problems of the sales queries. You can also answer the problems of the customers, and sometimes it becomes a very important issue, because if you can show in the social media that okay, I could solve lots of problems positively, ultimate result is a positive outcome of this particular problem, that creates very high customer satisfaction to the potential customers. Not only that customer who was ultimately satisfied, but also the potential customers who can see that okay, this guy was not happy initially, and then he was answered by this person and some conversation happened. So, at the end of the day he became happy. When I as a potential customer see this conversation track and see the ultimate result, even before I go and have the service, I become very assured that okay, even if I am not satisfied in the first go, this kind of conversation might also happen for me and I will be satisfied. So, this conversation of unhappiness to happiness for another customer becomes a signal of quality towards me. So, that is how we can also use this social CRM for service and support. So, rapid social response and peer-to-peer unpaid armies. So, this is also very important. So, in the last classes we were discussing about co-creation a lot. Do you remember what is co-creation? Co-creation was where you bring in the customer with you, and both the customer and the company together create a solution. Now, here what I am talking about is one type of co-creation where peer-to-peer problem solving is happening. I was talking about customer forums where customers ask a problem and other customers answer. Even in my particular course, we were trying to create peer-to-peer solution. If you know that I have told you in last of the videos that why don't you post a problem, post an answer to a problem, and other people will answer to your solution that you have given. Similarly, this peer-to-peer unpaid armies is basically that if you have certain customers who knows about your product, let's say if it's a software product, and I am an avid user of this particular, I am an advocate of this particular software, or probably I am an avid user of this software, and I know what are the intricacies, what are the problems I have faced. Now, the moment I see that another person faces the same problem, I reply even before you reply. Even before the customer care replies, I reply and solve the problem for this. So, these kind of customer forums work pretty well in the social media. So, it's important to you to create a social group. Let's say group of Microsoft Excel users, or Microsoft PPT users, or let's say Zoom users, and the moment the Zoom has any kind of problem in terms of online teaching and etc., somebody else who has been using Zoom or Microsoft Excel or any other brand very prominently will probably answer to this kind of problem. So, you have an unpaid army in the social media. Obviously, innovation, you can also, the unpaid army can also give you ideas, and that idea you can pick it up and create your new products, new product features, new changes in the product feature and etc. So, that is also another track. Collaboration is also another track where you can ask them to, why don't you come together, 3-4 guys come together and create a problem solution for you. That kind of features can also be created in social media. And the last one is customer experiences, where there is a seamless customer experiences, VIP experience, and mobile on location. So, you have to understand that this is something which is 24/7 and no location involved. So, you do not have to open a customer care center anywhere to handle this kind of a problems. It can be anywhere, you can give services to anywhere at any location. So, all of these together, all of these advantages together comes under the social CRM, and that is why social CRM is becoming very important in today's world. And new techniques, new strategies are coming up, like chatbots are coming up, where some amount of automation is there, like application of AI is coming up, where from the complaints itself I can categorize the complaint. So, rather than reading the complaint and understanding what problem it is, I can use AI and text mining techniques to categorize the problem a little bit even before somebody actually handled that. Or there are chatbots which tries to, let's say if it's a complaint, I would probably, in some of the cases, I would not want the complainant to be very angry, creating lots of negative sentiment in the social media. So, we use chatbots and etc. to reply quickly and then remove the conversation from the social media and ask them, then why don't you call this number, or why don't you email to this number. So, we try to move faster so that that particular conversation goes off social media. So, that kind of lots of moves are people are trying to take, but this as an overall strategy you have to think. You cannot remove social CRM outside your strategy box. What are the tools that are available? Okay, so now there are certain brand names that I will talk about, but these are not the prominent brand names. These are not the only brand names, but these are probably the prominent ones. Like one of the very important tool is the blog, where you talk about customer success stories, where you talk about your goodness of your brand, what you did, what you not did, what your customers did, and then they were happy with this, how your brand has helped or your company has helped in the social sector. Let's say the COVID-19 happened, or Amphan happened, or some kind of distress happened in the nearby locality where your brand is actually performing, then how that brand is helping there. So, like Grofers or all these Big Basket, this kind of companies have created lots of I would say positive vibes during the lockdown period, because they could send the products to the house, and they actually change the mindset of many people from the local market to this kind of online grocery markets. So, they use this kind of blogging techniques, sometimes micro blogging techniques also to tackle this particular customers. And then you can do podcast. Podcast means you can do probably certain kind of videos you can create where the usage of this particular products are shown, and those particular podcasts are shared freely. So, this will help a lot of customer relationship management efforts, because oftentimes customer comes and calls you and say that I cannot open this, what I have to do, there is a technical difficulty. Now, if there are lots of technical difficulties, and if you have a technical product and there are lots of technical difficulties that are happening, and there you need a person who will solve those kind of problems, rather than doing that, what you can ask them that why don't you go and see these videos, these podcasts. And when these podcasts are happening, the customers can go and see and understand that okay, this is what I have to click, this is what I have to click, this is what I have to write, and then I will get my result, the coveted result. So, that kind of podcast also helps in terms of more usage. Then social network services like Facebook. Facebook, we all know how it can be used. I have been discussing for the last couple of times. Wiki page is another important use place where you can use wiki pages to give as much information about your products in because wiki pages, one important advantage of wiki pages is, as I was telling, that oftentimes you need customers as unpaid armies to help you. So, wiki page is such kind of a page. Wiki pages are generally collaborative pages, means lots of writers can come together and enrich one post. It's often, if it's an open thing, then there can be lots of contributors. Now, if you encourage your customers to become contributors in a wiki page for your brand, let's say you can give certain prize money or something for them. Now, they can contribute in a very better way to this particular wiki page. They can maintain the wiki page. Sometimes when the first draft of the wiki page is made, after that you don't have to do anything. You can leave it to the customers, and customers, the positive good customers, can themselves manage the wiki page. So, this is a repository of information which is handled by an army who are unpaid and happy about you. So, that sometimes it backfires, but very rarely, because you can keep tracking this particular wiki page whether positive information are being shared or by chance some negative information are coming up here. But overall sense, you can think that this is also one particular source of information which is managed in an unpaid way. Twitter. So, I will at a later point of time I will share certain data sets which are there in Kaggle.com. You can go and search in Kaggle.com. Kaggle.com is a website where lots of data sets are there, big, small, different size of data set, different types of data sets are there. You can go in Kaggle and you can search for Twitter customer support, and you will see that there are data sets which actually has millions of customer conversations for multiple brands. So, the one data set that we are working on has probably around 15-20 brands, big brands like Apple or Microsoft or this and that, who are giving services through Twitter, customer relationship management services through Twitter. YouTube videos are also, like podcast and YouTube videos generally comes hand in hand, and oftentimes there are YouTube live also. You can also run YouTube live webinars kind of stuff through YouTube, with which you can give services to the customers. Then there are discussion forums, which I told already that like Salesforce.com or Power BI or lots of software companies have their own discussion forums where somebody posts their problem, some other customers answer to those problems, somebody gives certain suggestions in terms of feature improvement, some other customer vote or like or dislike those the feature improvements, and based on multiple customers overall reaction to these feature improvements or multiple customers reaction to these complaints, you can give a better service or better product design to these particular customers. So, forums are also very important. Yelp, or in India's context, you know, Zomato, for Zomato for food, and then TripAdvisor or Make My Trip also has their own review channels. TripAdvisor also is a very important review channel for travel, and let us say there is Google reviews for basic any kind of products, there is IMDb for movies, Amazon has their own review platform. So, reviews, online reviews and ratings becomes another important factor. Now, online reviews and ratings is itself is a very I would say very prominent literature. It's a very prominent area where you have to focus on, and in a different class we will probably spend around probably 1 hour or so on this online ratings management, how you can manage online reviews and ratings, what kind of things are important, how you can know that who are the influencers, which type of reviews actually get lots of hype, which types of reviews are generally not liked by the people. So, those kind of discussions will come up, but online reviews is also one of the very major source of information when you go for customer relationship management. And then widgets. So, you can also put in your website all these social media widgets, so that people can directly go to your social media customer relation. So, rather than giving a email ID or giving a phone number, this widgets plays better role, because people oftentimes are more there means the newer individuals, the younger individuals are more probably happy or more I would say they are more comfortable to go to the social media platforms and post something rather than calling to your call. So, one-to-one conversations are slowly coming down and machine to human conversations are going up. Whether that is right, whether that is wrong, I will not discuss on that, but I am saying that this is the change happening. Now, you as a brand also have to embrace the change. So, why don't you put all of your social media widgets in your website, so that people can go to your social media platform, the right platform, and write about and express about their problems or their good feelings at the right place. So, when you can do that, that creates a better operational strategy. So, this is how I am saying that how different tools can be used in an operational way to handle the social CRM. Now, next thing is the touch point management. So, there are multiple touch points that which you can use, like mail, email, SMS, web, call center, the branch, the IVR, the ATM in the context of a bank, let us say. So, there are multiple touch points. All these touch points create either all these touch points are basically handled by marketing campaign management and inbound interaction management. So, these are the two broad tools under which this, so mail, email, SMS, web, they are basically marketing campaign management. You do your campaign through this. Even web self-service also you do your campaign. And then call center, branch, IVR, ATM is basically inbound interaction you do. So, generally people come to these places, you do not go out. People come to these places and then inbound interaction happens. So, mail is generally outbound, mail, email, SMS. This IVR things are inbound, and the web self-service, the middle part, the social CRM part is basically both inbound and outbound, both kind of conversation happens. Now, what you do is you collect information from this, all of this kind of different kind of conversations, and you do customer analytics. You have various kinds of customer analytics tool you use to try to create information from this kind of touch point management system that you have created, so that you can give a better service to your customer. So, this is what I will stop today in this particular video, and I will continue in the next video from this point, and how customer analytics can be used along with social CRM, so that you can create lots of information for your company. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.